Yes. Welcome to the Thought Foundation. As I said before, we are in our community trying to help others, help people, the adults that are not able to sort of get hold of opportunities that is there for them. You know, there are some people in their homes, they can't go out, they can't do one or two things because of their predicament. But that's notwithstanding, we will not deprive them of what they are entitled to or what the community have for them. That is why people like us have to come in to bridge the gap. So we are here to help those deprived, unreached people in our community to access facilities just like this, or those that are not fortunate enough to go to the four walls of the university or school formal institution, but we still have opportunity to help them to access all that is made available for them with such help as the National Lottery. They are there to support us. They've been doing that. They will continue to do that. There are other grant and funders that are out there that try to help social enterprise like us to make other people strive and get the opportunity that they can't really reach in the very first instance. So welcome to this platform, and permit me to welcome Olushi to kickstart with the functional skill aspect of it. We are, during this course of our sections, a lot of things can come in. If you have information that is not very clear to you because they've send you a letter, you cannot really digest it properly, or you do not even know what to do because you do not understand it in the first instance. So you can bring those letters in, we treat it with you. If you don't want to publicize it because you want something to be more of private, because of privacy, we can do it. But if you feel it's open letter, it's better other people benefit from it right from this section, you know. But if you want privacy, you can talk to us one-on-one. We'll know how to go from there. And apart from that, we have some other areas that a lot of people struggle with. It has to do with internet security. A lot of people have issues with, how do I manage my funding? How can I struggle hard? At the end, someone will just come and take everything I've worked hard for, you know? In that situation, we need enlightenment. And that enlightenment comes from people like me and you, those that have passed through the situation, or those that are informed, specialists that are informed, that will be able to digest it and tell you what to do. Is it internet frauding? Is it home door-to-door frauding? There are a lot more for us to learn in this type of section. And another thing I want to add to read. This is the first time of we coming in here. So I really want you to understand what we are up to. Some people are in our midst. They go to work like me and you, but their mental state, I'm telling you, is going down. When I mean it's going down, they are not, nobody knows what is going on with them. They can get in a bus with you. They can drive with you on the way. You wouldn't even know what's wrong with them, but their mental state is down. They don't know what is happening to them. Is either they are driving or they are walking, they are in a bus, they are thinking of what's the next thing to do. How do I take care of my family? This money or what I'm earning is not enough to continue. Or they are depressed. They have one mental issue or the other. You wouldn't know, but every day we move around. Even your friend, your family member, they are passing through a lot. You wouldn't know what's going on. So when we are in this session, we'll be having a specialist that will be coming in. The specialist will come to digest with us, to treat what it takes to manage your mental health state, what it takes for you to know about fraud that is going on in our society, and the functional skill you need to move on in life in this hard time that we are in today. For you to get a job, how do you write your personal statement? All this, we are going to treat them in this session. So do not deprive yourself from joining in. Anytime you have opportunity like this, log in. It is from 6 o'clock most of the time, depending on who is here, will know how to juggle it. But it's not a grammar class, know that. And you are in here to basically tell us your problem, then we'll know how to go about it. I'm still saying it. Do not be thinking of the tenses or whatever I want to say is not correct. People might laugh at me. This is not the purpose of this section. The purpose of this section is for me and you to benefit from it. That if there is anything you do not understand, I'm going to stay around and listen to the program. I will benefit from it, and I believe you too will benefit from it. So don't be shy. And if that shyness is kicking in, I'm telling you, please test me, send me a private message, and definitely we should be able to solve the problem together. Can I please formally welcome Olushi to the platform? And at the same time, I want to give you this hint. She's our upcoming lawyer. Don't just look at her like that. When you have an issue with some things that have to do with law, please, she's well-grounded. She's very good with English. She's a law student. She will be graduating soon. She's out of the country, actually trying to do one or two things concerning her academic career. Please, let's use the opportunity to benefit from her. She's well learned in that aspect. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the introduction. Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Aluchi. So do feel free to ask me questions. Obviously, I'm not qualified yet, but I will be able to give you some sort of advice from what I know, what I've studied so far. So let me know if I can see my screen whilst I share my screen. Yeah, can you see my screen?
Coming up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, great. Cool. So as you said, this is the thought foundation, and like the session I'm going to be looking at or going through with you will be particularly about obviously functional skills. We'll go through different things like personal statement, letters, emails, just going through things that even myself need to learn, because we don't learn these things in our day-to-day, how to write a letter, but we always work with these every time. We get letters from even the government, Royal Mail, tickets, we always get these things. So it's just things that we need to know, life skills that we need to learn. Obviously, as there'll be face-to-face, so if you have any questions that you can't speak up about, obviously there's a forum chat where you can obviously directly message. And we'll be obviously open to any questions around this topic. So today we're going to focus on just writing a letter. This is one of the things we're going to focus on. And obviously every week we'll be going for different things. So if there's not a letter, email, depending on obviously what the issues and the questions that you ask me, I'll be able to cater it to you or create to the session. But yeah, today we're going to be learning about how to write a letter. Because we get it all the time. I got letters today. I know most of us have got letters today from different places, one or the other. So yeah, so please do feel free to talk and ask me a question as well. So yeah, obviously we know what a letter is. We get a letter, a printed letter directed to us, maybe for a complaint, an issue to inform us. When is our hospital appointment, our child's having a sports day. A letter is something that we deal with every single day. And obviously here are 3 different types of letters: parking tickets, or even from the government or something. They're all different letters. There are obviously 2 types of letters: business letters, formal letters that we get, and we also have personal letters. And most of our day-to-day interactions always get formal letters. Obviously back in the day, letters was the only way of communication. Now we have WhatsApp and Instagram, and we don't tend to send letters personally, but we use personal letters for informal matters. But today we're going to focus on formal letters, something that we all use most often. So what is a formal letter? And formal letters is usually to people that we don't know. When we're writing to someone that we don't know, we want to complain about something, even apply for a job, or we're applying to somebody that has sent us a letter. That's why we have to use a formal letter, formal greetings, formal structures. If it was informal, like a personal letter to maybe my sister who lives across the road, I can just be like, "Oh, hi, Sarah." That's a personal letter, something that is, the person you have a relationship with. So it's not that informal, it's not that formal. But today we're going to focus on formal letters. So again, formal letters, again, it requires good English. You need to be able to, speak clearly, make sure it's communicated very, very clearly, articulate yourself clearly. Okay, because you don't know who this person is. You need them to understand what you're asking them to do or replying to them. Okay, we tend to use serious language here, and when we're writing letters. And from the beginning to the end, you have to write it formally. It has to be appropriate for whoever you're talking to. So it should be mature, simple, and clear. It doesn't have fancy language. It doesn't need to be the most academic, clear in writing. It just needs to be simple, clear, and have some sort of sufficient good English when you're writing a letter. So again, when you should write a letter, when you're thanking somebody, when you need assistance, okay, when you need assistance for something, responding to a letter that's been received from maybe government or your school, your child's school, or when you're creating legal documents, you have, this is when a letter is required. Okay, most times it's emails, but again, a letter is always required in this instance. So why should we use a formal letter? To ask someone to do something, again, write someone we don't know. Formal letters is required. Most times in our day, we can use emails, but we do need to use letters. So again, who are we writing these letters to? Okay, it could be a famous person. I don't know any famous person, but maybe one of you guys do. But for a famous person, if you want to speak to Rishi Sunak, the Prime Minister, the mayor of your county, or your head teacher, or somebody, again, these are just for examples you may need to write a letter to, people of importance, and you don't know. So these are examples. Does anybody have any example of who you'd write a letter to that would be required to write a letter to? Anyone?
The council.
Yeah, she, the council. Anybody else? No? So you have the council, you Royal Mail, you lost your parcel and, they're not contacting you. Also, it could be your school, your child's, school, for you to send a letter about requesting, I don't know, holiday or you need to travel or all these things requires a letter. So, okay. So before I break this down, this probably looks a lot right now, but don't worry, I'm going to break it down for everyone to understand. So this is an example, like a simplified example of a letter, okay? And don't worry, this is not the only way to write a letter, but this is just a template. And I'm going to break it down and come back to explain each of these points. So the first one, the dates. So as you can see, the date is very important, okay? You need, when you're writing a letter, especially when it's a copy, you need to write the date. You need to know what date, the dates that you're sending this letter to, okay? Next is the address, okay? And this, even when I was learning how to write a letter before, it was just confusing. Where do I put the address? What address? My address? Where do I put this on the page? And obviously, it tends to be when you're writing a letter, you write the person you're writing the letter to, you write it at the top, and then the second at the bottom here, you write your address. So your address and the person's address is going to be on the letter. Okay, this is not the envelope, this is the letter. So the person who you're writing to is always going to be above your address. Okay, that's one very, very key thing. So when you're writing a letter to somebody, you make sure the address is at the top and your address is below it. Okay. Again, it doesn't matter if the date is in between it doesn't matter, but at least the date has to be on the letter. Okay. People tend to put it on one side. I think it's more simpler to just write everything on one side, do your address, their address together on one side of their letter. But it's very important that your letter and whoever you're sending a letter to, their address is on the letter. Okay, not on the envelope, on the letter. So anyway, guys, any questions so far about it? Because even me, I had to ask questions when I was learning it. Where do I put the letter and where do I put my address and stuff? No questions so far?
Yeah, just a question. I remember those days you used to write a letter, you do blocks, some write to the other side and you put your name this way and the person you are writing to at the bottom. Does it have a new method of doing it? Because some of us, we do not know it. So we still thinking of how it used to be those days. So what do you think? Must we always write it this way, or is it because it's simple?
I think this is because it's simple. This is a simpler way to send a letter. So yeah, normally if it'll be one way, so you put your address on that side and then the other person on the correspondent on the other side. But this is a simpler way to making sure that everything you need in a letter is going to be on that letter. So my address or the other person I'm sending it to is on the paper. So yeah, I know everyone has different styles of writing a letter, but this is the simplest way to make sure it's clear and simple that you're going to write this letter and it's properly written in a good format. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So again, we have our dates, we have an address. Okay, this is Russia. No one's sending any letters to Russia, as Russia is in a war right now. But this is an example of an address. But yeah, again, an address. So when you are writing your address, it's very important that you have your comments. So first line, even when we're buying something, they ask us first line, second line, third line of address. So your first line, again here, we have our first line of address, 55 Pushton Street, comma, the second line, comma, then your county, or was it Greenwich, or was it Woolwich, or wherever, third line, comma, and then London, your postcode. So obviously your postcode is always going to be the last thing. So making sure each line of your address has a comma next to it. Okay, for both your address, their address. Okay, so always remember each line of address per comma for each point. So cool. So even this, it's greeting. Okay, even me, sometimes I'm middle up with greeting. And the two simplest ways about doing greetings when you write a letter is you write dear sir or madam if you don't know the person. Okay, when you don't know the person you're speaking to, even if they probably put kind regards at the bottom, they put their name, but you don't know them, the best way to think about it is just write dear sir or madam. Okay, dear sir, madam, is suffice. Any letter you send it to, even if you're a doctor or not, dear sir, madam, well, it's literally when you don't know the person you're speaking to. Okay, when you do know the person, for example, if it's your own doctor, or maybe is the teacher of your child's primary school teacher, and you know their name, then you write dear Mr. Jenkins. Obviously, if it's a doctor, you put dear Dr. Johnson. Okay, so always remember, if you don't know the person, just say dear sir or madam. Or if you don't know, even if there's the gender, just write dear sir slash madam. If you don't know the gender, just say dear sir or slash madam. Okay, when you are directing somebody. Yeah. So again, here. So as before, there's different formats of writing a letter. My address could be here again, and the other person you're writing to could be here. Okay. When you're saying dear Mr. So here, this letter, or this letter here, you know the person because you know that their name is here. Dear Mr. Smith. If you don't know the person, dear sir or madam. Okay. And lastly, if you don't, to whom this make this concern. So maybe, for example, let's say now you're ordering from, let's say you've ordered from Royal and you've complained that you haven't got your parcel. And now you're writing a letter and you don't know who's, just says the address of the headquarters in London. Yeah, you can start from to whom this may concern and write your complaint, because you don't know who is a miss, or so you don't know who you're dealing with here. It's just the company, the people who is going to assess situation, you can write that. So if you have no idea who, like, it's not a person or just an organization or company, you can start with to whom it may concern, because it could be a woman, it could be a man, it could be a junior, it could be a senior. So when you're talking to an organization or company, you start with to whom it may concern. Yeah, or maybe, for example, the receptionist, your dentist, if they give you something, they may say to whom this may concern your household. When you, let's say, I know for me, my family, we all have the same dentist. We don't know who it may concern. So they may send it to us that we all are eligible for checkup. So, again, if you don't know, again, exactly, you could be to whom it may concern, or dear sir or madam. Okay, so that's the subject for who you're talking to. Okay, any questions so far? No, any questions? No? Cool. So when you are writing to somebody, your dear sir, dear Mr. Smith, these are the three that I can remember, the three key or simple things. I'm writing to inform you, I'm writing in reference to, or if you've been trying to contact them, you can talk about further our conversation on the phone, or further the conversation I had with your colleague. This is the way to start your letters. Okay, you start your letters from I'm writing to inform you, writing, that's the main thing. Always start the beginning of your letter, talking about the main content of your letter.
Sorry, I've got a question.
Sure.
So is it important that we include a heading before we start talking about the main content of the letter?
Oh yeah, good question. Yes. So for example, if it is you are writing a letter, and it's not like a response, then you would write a subject. So for example, if you want to ask for a leave, to take your child on holiday, and you need to send a letter for it, you can say subject, request for absence. and that will be your subject, and then you're basically asking, requesting for something, then you write a subject so they know the topic of your letter. It's not necessary, but it is good to write a subject. So yes, request for absence. I'm writing to inform you to request for my absence for my child as we're going on holiday. Well, shouldn't we go on holiday? But you want to take some days off for your child. That's how you do it. But if it's a response, for example, you've received a letter and you responded to it, it's not necessary because you're just responding to a letter and there's no need for a subject. But again, it's not a make or break if you don't write a subject. It's still going to read you'll read your letter, as long as, again, it's clear and simple so anyone can read it, whoever you're sending the letter to. So I know there are different structures of writing a letter, but my key thing is when you are writing a letter, the first, sentences or the first part of your letter you want to write to them, make sure you're talking about the content of why you're writing. I'm writing to inform you. It's to inform you that you want to leave this job, or if you're writing for me that I'm interested in this job application. Again, start strong, start clear and simple, exactly why you are writing for this letter. If you've been speaking to a colleague and you need to write it on paper, further our conversation with your colleague, I would like to inform you. Okay, this is just a few sentence starters to help you focus on the first part of your letter. Okay, so again, start brief. Okay, the details, again, you want to start brief. The complaint or the product or the time or whatever you're referring to in your letter. Okay, even if it's a job, I'm here to request or trying to inform you that I'm interested in a role, your job advert I saw on Indeed or on another website or the other. It's good to start your introduction with the first part of your letter about what you need and what you're trying to inform. If you put it at the end, they're gonna, some people even get to the end of their letter. So you want to make sure whatever you want to talk about is in the beginning of your letter. Okay. Cool. So if you're requesting for something, some people, I don't know how to request for something. I don't know how to say it in a formal manner. I want someone to help me with something. These are a few sentence starters. So you can be like, I would appreciate if you could. I'll be grateful if you could. Could you please send at your earliest convenience as soon as possible? So when you are requesting, I know sometimes it's hard to form a way to ask somebody for something, but not begging in a formal way. These are a few sentences. So I would appreciate if you could. I would be grateful if you could, and please send me this at your earliest convenience. Much appreciated. When you're trying to request something from somebody. Also, going back a little bit, yeah. So again, as I was saying before, this is what you're trying to ask somebody. So it was a pleasure meeting you at this conference. As we discussed, this is just an example of another letter. The bottom part of your letter, or the next part of your letter, is more about thank you. I appreciate having the time to read my letter, and I would like to hear from you soon. That's when you're ending of the letter. It doesn't have to be another paragraph. People think they need to have blocks. So long as you've written the matter of your letter, the first part, literally could be one sentence or two sentences saying, thank you very much. I'll be waiting or looking forward to hearing from you. Very, very simple last response before you write your signature or your kind regards or best wishes. Okay, so you can always write two sentences, and this could also be applied in emails. When you ask somebody for something in your email, you can always say, thank you very much for your email. I'll be looking to hear from you, or I'll be looking forward for your response or your email. So yeah, this is the last part. I think people get trickled up. But how you end your letter. Best wishes, yours sincerely, yours faithfully, and then your first and second name. Okay, these are the few things that I always remembered, or kind regards. Okay, so always, even when you don't know anybody, is the best one to use if you don't know them is yours sincerely. Okay, when you know the person, I tend to use kind regards. But if I don't know them, I use yours sincerely and yours faithfully, your first name and second name at the bottom of your letter. Okay, do you have any questions, anybody, going as we continue? No? Cool. So this is a template, okay, of how a letter would look like. Okay. So as I said, your address could either be on this side or here. Again, it doesn't matter. I've sent letters on both sides and it's never been an issue. Okay, you always put your address at the top and the person who you're sending it below it. Okay, so you could either be either at the top here, your address, or your address here. Okay, whoever you're sending it here, we're sending it to House Majesty the Queen, Buckingham Palace. Again, is literally below it. Okay, so here we're talking to the Majesty. So this one is not a dear sir or ma'am, it's here, dear Majesty. So again, and again, always write your date. So I would say and advise you to write your date before you write dear. So if you write dear somebody, make sure your date is above it. Again, it doesn't matter on the side. It doesn't matter on the side. Okay. Main content again is the first paragraph, first thing. It's your first content. Okay. Some people don't go through so many letters, you know, and you need to make sure it's clear in the beginning. Okay. You also want to write the last thing I said. I hope to hear your response to my invitation. I hope to hear from you soon. Looking forward to your response. Just a little sentence after you finish whatever you've been saying. And then you write yours sincerely, because again, the Queen don't know me. I don't know the Queen. You say yours sincerely and you write your first name, your full name. So Miss, you know, here we have Miss and Myra, or you write your name. For me, it'll be Miss Alicia Coney. Okay, so this would be an example of a formal letter to include. Yes, anybody have any questions at all? Any questions? So, yeah, so here, as I said, this is a template, and I would, you know, if anybody needs a template, I can send a PDF template, so you can always have very, very simple. It doesn't have to be complicated. You know, again, this template is fine, perfect, excellent template to use whenever you're trying to send a letter to somebody. I've used this template even myself when I'm learning to write a letter. And either way, as long as you have all of these things in your letter, it's just fine. And regardless of each side you put it on, your address at the top, below it, the person you're sending it to, the date, and who you're going to address it, dear sir, dear madam. Okay, and you're going to also end it with yours sincerely, your name. Okay, so always present it with try and use great English. Okay, second person, so make sure you're always saying, you know, I am or you, and using serious language, no informal language. You know, try and be as formal as you can and simple and clear. Okay, it's very, very important when you're writing their letters. Yeah, and yeah, so that's literally. Does anybody have any like questions on questions or issues when they get letters? So sometimes when I get letters, I don't know how to respond, or how would I even print? How would I even access to, you know, to learn how to print it? So like any questions about about letters, anybody? Or is there a letter that you've had and you didn't even know where to start with, or where to even how to attempt to even address it to a right one?
Yeah, can I just say this, Olushi? There are sometimes I'm just trying to there are some people, they don't even know what to ask at this particular time. There are some times that somebody is like they've sent you a letter and you've responded. It's like nothing is happening. You want to use such of an aggressive word, but you don't want to do it in a formal way. How do we go about it? What languages or what words do you think we can use in that type of structuring a letter? You know, maybe they send you a letter and you responded before, you know, but they send you a reminder and you are feeling, oh, haven't I answered this question before? Or can somebody in the managerial position do something about it? How do we use persuasive ways to sort of answer such letters?
Okay, with the first question about when you're angry, or let's say you're a bit frustrated when you've tried to reach out to somebody and you don't want to be rude in a formal way, I would say make sure you don't make your emotions clear on the on the letter. It's very, very important. But you do want to show that you are a bit frustrated. You want to show frustration in a formal manner. Okay, so let's say, for example, you've called HMR, and you've called them 3 times and they haven't responded, or you send them letters, you obviously will you still start with this formal letter, still start with this formal template. You say, obviously, dear, your dear Majesty. But again, if anything, it's more about showing that being smarter than they are. So when you are talking about, for example, they've missed you 3 times, you sent letters and they haven't back, the first thing I would say is quite urgent. So I would say it's more of an urgent alert. So I would say, for example, on the July the 7th of this year, I've noticed that I still haven't received a response, whilst repetitively trying to engage or trying to contact you on this serious matter. It would much appreciated if you could, if there's another way for us to communicate, because, for example, letters may not be the best way. This is quite urgent matter. So show the urgency, but showing that you also have communicated in a polite manner. So, for example, I was living with a landlord, and I was trying to be as formal as I can, because I know some of us trying to be as formal as you can, even on email. And it's more about showing urgency, but also showing dates. So I would recommend, if you've done it 3 times, make sure you write record of the times that you've been trying to be persistent with writing letters, and be like, on July the 17th, I've expressed this issue and I still haven't heard back. This is quite important. And is there any other way I can contact you for this to be solved? Be much appreciated. Then rather saying, I've been calling you, this is ridiculous. And again, it doesn't get anywhere, because again, you still need them. Did you get? So you need to still try and be accommodating, but also show your urgency for that matter to be resolved. Not your frustration, the urgency. So if anything, I would say even exaggerate the urgency of the matter. So even if it's not even something that you need to be tomorrow, but show, like, if this doesn't be done, then it's going to be serious, like, it's going to be a serious inconvenience, not to my life, God forbid, but to the situation. So it's about showing the urgency and frustration. I think people swap that around when they're so angry about something, but they're not going to help if they're angry. Especially when we're asking for something, it's about urgency. The government will only help if it's urgent. Even, for example, even if your boiler's not working, if your child is not under 5, or it's not urgent. It's not about you being angry. It's about how urgent is your issue. So always remember, when you're frustrated, it's all about urgency. How urgent. Show them how urgent the issue is that needs to be dealt with, not how angry you are, because they don't care about how angry you are. It's about how urgent, so they can help you. So I would say that's my advice for that one. Persuasion. So when writing a letter to persuade somebody, so for example, so do you have an example of trying to persuade someone? So what would be the subject? Because all I can remember is like when
okay. Like, for example, you've which example can I give now? You've who can help me out there? Is Joy there? Martha. Have you come across any persuasive letter that really you need urgency and you don't know how to express yourself? You really need any topic, anyone? Is anybody there? Okay, I would think on my own then.
I think the only one I can remember is, like, I think I was supposed to go to Nigeria, and
Okay.
when I was very, very, very young, and my dad had to write a very persuasive letter to allow me some days off school for us to go to Nigeria for my grandma's burial, because they were very strict on it. So in that regards, it's shown in that regards, because it's children. Because remember, depending on the subject of your matter, if it's your children, your health, you want to show that it's urgent, but again, this is very, very important. Okay, that it's very detrimental to us for you to not do this for us. So you want to show that, okay, cool. For example, my dad would say, again, it's the grandma's burial. They were very, very close to their mother, and it's very important for our tradition, for us to go back. And 3 days of school, even trying to say that, don't worry, they'll do their homework before then, or make sure they'll be on top of everything before then, to show that not only are you trying to get what you want, but you're also acknowledging that the issues that this may come. So when you're also trying to persuade somebody, it's also good to show, okay, I know I want to do something. However, I acknowledged that this could be an inconvenience for you, and I'm trying to give a solution. So you don't want to persuade somebody and they'll be like, but what about this? You need to make sure you've encountered all the buts they're going to say to you. So when they're reading through your letter, you'll be like, okay, that's true. So I would say, when you are trying to persuade, depending on the matter, if it's emotion, like, when you're writing a letter about a child or something that's quite personal, but showing emotion and showing, okay, cool, how important this is to you, how urgent this is, and think about if this is your child, that, this is how important, or this is your grandma, it'll be important for your children or your family to be around there, especially in their part of their life. And it's important as a teacher to allow, children to be part of that tradition, if that makes sense. That's what I only remember the lesson I remember about persuasion from my dad, and I was able to go, so it worked. So, any other examples that does anybody know that you need to persuade, because persuasion doesn't have to be a letter, it could be even persuading someone to do something from you, even from work. They're also all the same persuasion that you would need in a letter. So anybody have any examples for it?
Yeah, for example, we all know how tight services are, how, you have to wait and wait, be on the waiting list for sometimes for them to attend to you, or if you're requesting a particular service, it could be that you're not prioritized. And sometimes you have to write to the professionals or the people involved in a certain manner for them to be able to consider your case. So, for example, maybe you're trying to get an occupational therapy assessment, right? Sorry, I'm using that example because I'm used to being in health and social care. They have a 6 months waiting list. So you're going to have to wait, and, but it's not convenient for you because your health problems are impacting on your day-to-day. You can't really do much. It's causing a lot of frustration, but at the same time, it's now affecting your mental well-being. So when you're writing and trying to push for services, these are the kind of things that you can include in your letter. You can include the facts, which would be maybe your medical condition. You can include the impact it's having on you, physically, mentally. You can quote the law if you need to, because when you're writing to professionals, they need to know that you know what you're talking about. So when they know that you're clued up, then they kind of sit up. So you can include facts, you can include the law, you can include circumstantial evidence. You can also maybe get opinions of, maybe quote somebody. The doctor has said, if I don't do this, this might happen. My condition is deteriorating because of the nature of, so things like that. It's just quoting a lot of facts, law, if you can, and that would get their attention, basically.
100%. Yeah, the same thing for a lot of times, like even in my landlord, like, I'll have to quote law so they know that I know what I'm talking about, because with people from that type of authority, whatever they say is like they think is final, and there are laws and things that you can use to help you to feel to battle that. So 100%, I 100% agree. And most of this is online as well. Okay, we all have rights as people who live under these tenants, and it's literally online. So you can also use this, or even when you speak to someone, quote them. Quoting is very, very important as well, especially from a doctor. It shows how, like, not only is I'm asking, but the doctor has also said as well for my case that this is urgent. So yeah. Anybody else have any examples where they've had to be persuasive or need to persuade in a letter or to do something? No? Obviously, if you do have any letters or any issues about who you're writing to, especially when it can be a bit complicated, like even when you get ticket fines, you need to use evidence, picture, this, there's a lot of things you need, depending on the subjects of your letters. Every letter is different. So if you do need help in those areas, please do feel free to contact directly to us to help you with that. I would try and find an example of a letter that I probably wrote myself, but I don't keep count of the letters I've written. But I just wanted to say, any questions, literally, I'm very, very open to speak about anything.
Can I ask this question, Olusegun? This just come to me, most people struggle for words, we can be writing, mostly what this internet has done to so many people. Their spelling is not just working as it's supposed to go, things is not, if they spell, we'll be wondering, is that how to spell this again? Oh, you know what advice do you have for an adult learner like us that really need to, they are typing? Do you have a particular site you normally use I'm trying to bring some words from out of you now. Do you have some sites that you use to proofread? Is there anything they can do to their, assuming they want to go about? Because I want this to be raw, that people should learn, even if as simple as possible, they should learn how to do things on their own without even the help of some other specialists. Do you have an idea of how to go about proofreading work?
Yeah, so of course I have like 2 websites that work quite well together. I'm going to see if I can get it up. And one of them is helps with grammar, and the other one helps with being a bit more concise. And what I mean by concise is when we are talking, sometimes we can rabble along and it's not clear to what we're trying to say. So let me try to see if I can share my screen, and I'll show you both of the websites. So the first one is Grammarly. I don't know if anybody's heard of that one, Grammarly. And I even still use it as my academic writing sometimes. So this thing's, can everyone see my screen?
Yes.
Oh, great. So Grammarly is free. It's free. Once you download it on your laptop, it helps you with it will assist you in your emails. So when you're writing email, you'll see the Grammarly G, this G Grammarly it will come and help and assist you when you're writing emails. Even when you're using Word, you can also, it will also come up, you'll see G will be underlined and already for you. So once you download it on your laptop, it will be assisting you in your emails and letters or in your document. You can also help you when you're, for example, even sending messages on WhatsApp. You can download it on your phone, and when you download your phone, it will be helping you correct it. So this is it's free and it's really, really good. It's very, very, very good. So you have this, so get Grammarly for free. You just make an account, it's free, get Grammarly. Obviously I've already signed up to it, but once you sign up to it, there'll be a time where you can able to so it has here for emails, Outlook, Apple Mail, again, Word, Google Docs, Twitter, like everything you need, Grammarly will help you in those areas. So if you download Grammarly on your laptop, or if you download it on your phone, it will help you with your spellings, or maybe that it doesn't make sense, or you missed out. For me, missed out an or the. There's little words you just forget that you miss out. It will just help you with this assistant. So Grammarly is the first one for any spelling mistakes or grammar mistakes. Those are the first one. So as you hear, it will come out from nowhere. You see G for your email here, and it will help you rephrase it for you to make it make more sense. So that's the first place I would download for everybody. It's really, really helpful. Especially WhatsApp, as we use it so many times, or texting. It will just help us Grammarly quickly. The second part is called Quillbot. I don't know if anybody's heard Quillbot before. It's like a paraphrasing website, and it helps you with, for example, if you're writing a long paragraph and it's not clear, you've written a lot of things and it's not clear, for example, you can put it on Quillbot and it will basically rephrase it. So I'm going to see if I can find a very quick Word document I have, and I'll just copy and paste something very quickly to show you guys what I mean by this. So let me see where I can get it from. Okay, cool. I'm just going to go to my email quickly, and I'm just going to show you guys. I'm going to show you guys what it does, basically, how it rephrases a sentence. So let me see if I can get it up. Okay, great. So yeah, so this is about. Let me just show you. Okay. So I've just copied and pasted one work that I have to mark. Allow. Cool. Yeah. So this is just, can everyone see my screen, by the way? Does everyone see my screen? Yes. Okay, cool, great. Thank you. So this is just a paragraph from one of a student that I'm teaching and mentoring, and about football. Okay, and you have up to 120 words. So for example, this person has written a lot, and let's say it's not clear. Okay, you've written it down, you put it down here. Obviously, there's only 2 modes, standard or fluency. It's still fine regardless each one you put. I don't really see a difference. So once you put it down here and you've rephrased it here, it rephrases it and reduces the words. So instead of saying in football, a referee holds significant power and influence, it rephrases it for you so it's a bit more clearer. It's reduced the amount of words as well. So if you think you're writing too much and it's not clear, you can put it here and you rephrase it for you and it's a bit more, it makes it more clearer. So as you can see here, it says, even for example here, it says, however, social pressure from fans have been said to affect the decisions made by referee, favoring the home team usually. It has rephrased it to, however, social pressure from fans is said to influence referee decisions, usually favoring the home team. It's basically a bit more clearer. So this is another website to make it a bit more clearer for you. So it's called Quillbot. Okay, so when you write in something and you think it's a lot, it's waffly, it's not clear, you use Grammarly to correct spelling mistakes, and then you can also paste it here to make it a bit more concise and reduces the number you've written. So yeah, those are the two websites I would recommend for writing emails or writing letters to make it more clearer. Yeah. Does anybody else have any websites they can add to? I'm open ears. Anything can help anybody.
Thank you very much, Olushi. I'm just sharing this school board for the very first time. Grammarly that I know, but I haven't really heard of this cool board before. So thank you. I'll take note of that too. Well done to you.
No problem. So yeah, those two work hand to hand. I would recommend to always use Grammarly first to check the spelling mistake, because Quillbot is good at reducing the amount of words and rephrasing it to make it a bit more clear. They don't know what you're saying. They're just looking at the words itself. So it's good that when you do Grammarly, you check the spelling mistakes first, because they don't check your spelling mistakes here. They just rephrase it and make it a bit more clearer for you. Even when I'm doing law, they don't know what law is. So I need to make sure that I know exactly. So when they're rephrasing it, I read it again to make sure they didn't just take things out from context. Okay, so that's what I would recommend. Obviously, sometimes I have American English, so please make sure you write British English as well. So it's important before they'll be writing another English that is not formal for us. So yeah, that's also important as well. Okay, so the other two, I'll try and remember that websites each time we're going through writing things, like websites to help different things. But I would say for emails, when we do learn how to write emails, again, very similar to letters, Grammarly helps. I would say download on your phone when you're texting, so we'll be reminding you, so you get used to, checking your texts and your spellings. But yeah, that's all I have for today. Does anybody have any questions?
Thank you very much, Olushi. Yeah, this
cool.
is what
No problem.
we're expecting.
Yeah, cool. No problem.
Yeah, and I'll use this opportunity to welcome Joy, formally welcome Joy to the platform again. She's going to go around all this fraudulent talk we'll be hearing about, the internet, cyber insecurity, that's what I will call it, that's been going on. A lot of people have been a victim, and we don't want to be part of it. We've worked hard for our money. We've worked hard to have our properties. So we don't want the fraudulent people to come in to just take it within a finger click. So what she's going to do for us is basically to enlighten us about this. This is just a preamble, is the introductory part of it. As time goes on, we'll see more and more. And if you have any issues, I keep saying, bring it onto the platform. Let's see how we'll get to work hand in hand to make it resolve. If you have one problem with people coming in to defraud you, is it even by telephone calls and all that, there are signs you see so that you don't fall victim. You don't click on what you're not supposed to click on your phone, on the internet, or whatever gadget you use. So this is why we are here, So we've had Joy that have health and social care background. She have knowledge about all these fraudulent people have been calling in one way or the other to let her know about what is going on concerning fraudulent attempt. She's expert in this. She understands it, and she knows where they are coming from. So she's going to let us know what to expect during this course of our sessions. So let's sit back and enjoy her sections. Thank you, Joy. Over to you.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. So my name is Joy, and it's great to be here. Thank you, Owa, for this wonderful initiative and opportunity to support and empower people in the community. And also, to be part of this. So we're going to be talking about cybercrime, talking about internet safety. This is just an overview. This is just, as Owa said, a preamble. The subject is very, very vast, so we can't exhaust it in one day or just one session. We're going to break it down bit by bit. So this is just like an overview to get you thinking, because sometimes it's very easy for us to get, complacent. We forget these things and we become too comfortable. Whereas, there are people out there in the world that are busy, making every effort. They're advancing in technology so that they can hack into our details, so that they can commit online cyber crime. So we have to be up to speed as well. We have to constantly remind ourselves to be very, very cautious. So I believe that's why we're looking at this topic throughout the course of quite a few weeks. We'll be looking at different aspects of internet safety. So we're going to try and make this very interactive. I will appreciate if people can contribute, they can share their personal experience so that we can all learn from it. That would be great. And also, if you can engage in the session, and you don't have to have your videos on, you can just, drop in your answers if you can. That would be really, really good. So internet safety, some people call it cyber attacks. Some people say cyber crimes. They say online safety, online crime. They're all very related and used interchangeably. So don't worry if I keep swapping from cyber crime to cyber attacks. It's all the same. Okay. So now, why are we particularly looking at this topic? It's always been there. There's always been cybercrime. There's always been crimes, online, as far as people are online, since the onset of online activities. But why has it become more prevalent now? It's always been there, like I said, but we're going to try and explain it and link it to COVID. So obviously in 2020, we all know what happened when the world, actually locked down. Let's put it like that. Everything paused. Everything went on a hold. And we all experienced it. And, thank goodness we're here and we're able to overcome it. But it did have a very, very lasting and significant impact in the way that things are being done now, whether, at government level, whether on a private level. It did have serious and significant impacts. So COVID came, it meant that people couldn't meet face to face. It meant that, people couldn't gather, they couldn't really interact on an in-person basis for quite a long time. So people had to think of ways of doing things differently. And organizations had to adapt, and people had to upskill their digital skills. A lot of services had to probably, I would say, register their online presence even more so that people can access their services. So everything basically went online, and the digital world magically almost like transformed. So COVID meant that a lot of people were using more online resources, more online stuff. They were accessing information online. They were doing their shopping online. They were working online. They were socializing online, training online, schooling online. Everything was online. And it meant that there was a lot of traffic online. And it meant that, people who are already in the business of committing crimes online just had even bigger opportunity to continue doing what they're doing, because there was more people using the service, and also a lot of people went in blindly, you know, without really realizing the impacts, and also without really being cautious about, you know, how to keep safe online. So it meant that they were taken advantage of. So COVID, again, has been a very, very big catalyst for online usage and therefore cybercrime. Right. So let's look at some interesting facts and figures about online or internet usage. Let's look at some statistics as the internet continue to grow and break the digital divide, you know, between regions, countries, and continents. So the first one is 4.9 billion people were on the internet in January. This is a very, very recent statistics, and it blew my mind. Just January 2022, 4.9 billion people. Imagine how many people in the world. This was 75% of the population of the world were online. And then 57% of the internet is written in English language, which meant that it's easily accessible for a lot of people, because even non-English speaking countries, they teach English in their countries. So therefore, a lot of people understand English. It might just be really basic, but it means that they understand, they can read and understand English. So therefore, as the information online, 57% of it is in English, it means that it's easily accessible. Then almost 100% of all the consumers plan to purchase their services on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. Most of these social media apps went viral during the COVID, and people were shopping, people were advertising, they were promoting, they were entertaining, they were, you know, doing all sorts online, selling, doing transactions online. And a lot of people went there to do their online transaction. And we also have statistics about men. I don't know if we have any men here in the platform, but apparently men were using more social media networks more than women. And it was on a ratio of, I think it was 54.3% to 47.7%. Very small fraction, but still significant. Okay, so children were not left behind. Children from the ages of 8 to 11 are accessing the internet with their tablets in 21 year 21 to year 2022. So 79% of age 8 to 11, and that's huge. So most children are online now, even though there's a lot of restriction, there's a lot of age restrictions, you know, for which kind of sites or apps that they can access. It's still out there. The security measures are not really that tight. It's not very thorough. So they're still able to break through and access content online. So that's really worrying. And a lot of the web traffic came from mobile devices. So that's interesting because it's handy. You can carry it anywhere. You can use your mobile devices on the bus, on the tube, during your breaks. It's really convenient. So a lot of them was via mobile devices. And interestingly, as of January 2023, Nigeria leads the mobile internet traffic, standing at 83.56%. So in the whole world, Nigeria they access the internet the most using their mobile devices. And there's an explanation for that, obviously, because as a third world country, you know, not everybody, the average man might not have easy access to sophisticated devices like laptops, computers, like in the Western world. So what people have and have access to is mobile. So that kind of explains it, that people are using their mobile, you know, for practically everything, to type letters, to do everything on their mobile. Is handy, is affordable. So yeah, that's very interesting. And also Google, if you look at these points, over 90% search engine was on Google. So everyone is familiar with Google. If you've ever done any search, any surfing online, most people, the first the first search engine that you would go to is Google. We all have it saved on our phones and things like that. And also there are over 1.12 billion websites on the internet. So you can basically find everything and anything that you want information about online. It's all there. Type it in. Sometimes you think that you're the first person to actually do a search on that particular topic or word. No, it can be. Somebody somewhere in the world might have searched about that topic, might have researched it, and there is always answer. If somebody searched it, that means there's an answer. So there are people that are constantly there just trying to put in resources on Google. So it's all there, 1.12 billion. So there's a lot of people using online, using the internet nowadays compared to back in the day. So that means that a lot of people are vulnerable. That means that a lot of people are susceptible to fraud. They are susceptible to crimes online if they're not careful. Right. Right, can everybody see this picture? Thumbs up if you can see the picture.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fabulous. So what comes to your mind when you see this picture? I want a response, please. Take a sneak peek at what comes to your mind when you look at this picture. What are the things that are standing out for you when you see this picture? Just throw in the answers, unmute yourself, be free. We're all here to learn. I'm learning from you, you're learning from me. What comes to mind? What are the features?
I have to quickly say this before someone say it first.
Okay.
I can see the man, he's telling you, I love you. There's a flower in front of him. And at the same time, he's very sneaky. You can see him behind him. I never noticed that before, but immediately I looked deep. I saw there is a gun. Is it a double barrel gun behind him?
I have no idea. I have no knowledge of guns.
He's a great deceiver, I would say, because I'm telling you, I love you with this lovely flower. At the same time, I can't see his look totally, and there is a gun behind him. So I will be worried, honestly.
True, true. Thank you so much, Owa. Anybody else? Just tell me, it might just be one point. I haven't actually seen it from your perspective, Owa. I saw the flower there, but I didn't read meaning to it. So go for it.
Hello, good evening. Yes, I would say, because even though you did not see the gun behind him covering his face alone, it's enough to scare you away.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Anybody else? What can you make out of this picture? What comes to your mind? If somebody sends an image like this to your phone, or you come across somebody like this on the streets or in a shopping mall, what comes to your mind? What would you be thinking about, in all honesty?
For me, it looks like a terrorist.
Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, so let's crack on. So yeah, you're all very correct. It depends on how you see it. It depends on which angle you're looking at it from. The first thing that came to my mind is that, ooh, you're a criminal. I didn't even see that flower. Forget that flower thing. The flower thing is not working for me. That might have been working for Owa, but it didn't work for me. You're a criminal. You've got a balaclava on your face. You're trying to hide your identity. You're up to something no good. And to crown it all, you've got an ammunition at your back. You're ready to harm. So to me, you're a criminal. So typically, when we encounter people like this, they're up to no good. You can tell that they're there to either rob, maybe rob a bank, I don't know, rob a store, high value store, it could be. So typically this is our image of how thieves present, how criminals present. Are you with me? There's noise coming through. Until, did you, Owa? Is Owa there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
I've muted
Okay,
the
thank
person.
you. Thank you. So in my head, this is a criminal. Yeah, I didn't see the flowers. So looking at it from Owa's perspective, he looks like a good and a bad guy. Okay, a good guy, I'm trying to give you this flower, a bad guy in disguise. All right. So, but when we think about cyber crime, they're not that obvious. The criminals behind this crime are not that obvious, like the picture we saw. If somebody's coming to rob your house, if they're coming to rob a shop, they would need to arm themselves. They might probably need to cover their identity just to hide any forensic evidence and things like that. But when it comes to internet crime, cyber crime, it's a completely different story. Okay, because they are more sophisticated, they are behind the scene, they're using very sophisticated software, they're using very clever schemes, very clever tactics. They present as nice, as genuine, they present with something authentic, but behind all of this, they have an ulterior motive. So I just want us to bear that in mind, that when somebody is trying to defraud you, or when something seems too good to be true, just be a little bit suspicious, because it's never going to be that obvious. If it's too obvious, then they're not going to have anybody to fall for their schemes and their crimes and their plots, their strategies. Nobody will fall for it. So they try to hide behind the scene and pretend to be genuine and authentic. Okay, so who can be affected with cyber crime? Can you tell me who are the most affected with cyber crime? I want people to please let me know who can be affected, which group of people, which age of people, which class of people, which category of people do you think, in your opinion, there's no right or wrong? Yeah.
I would say the elderly.
The elderly, thank you.
Not just the elderly, between 16 and 34-year-olds.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Cyber crime, go on. Anybody else? Okay, anybody else?
I can add this, that it doesn't really have age limits. The way I'm seeing it, it has go beyond the age. You know, I know some people are more vulnerable, but anybody can be a victim.
Thank you. So yes, we're all correct. The elderly, the young adults, the adults, the middle-aged class people, the rich, the young, and surprisingly, even the dead. I'll tell you why, okay? So everybody can be a victim of cyber crime. Don't think too highly of yourself. Don't think that, oh, I'm very alert to all their strategies. I'm very alert to all their activities. I've done this, I've done that. They keep coming up with very, very creative ways, very clever ways to scheme and to scam you. So everyone is involved. Everyone can be a victim of cyber crime. And that includes individuals and private or public organizations. The government can be a victim of cyber crime. Yeah. Charities, non-profits and profit organizations, financial institutions like the banks can be a target. In fact, they are the big shots. It's just that you don't hear about these things, okay, because they have to try and protect their reputation. But of course, they also can be a victim of cybercrime. And the dead. Has anybody ever heard of when people use personal details or identities of people who have died? You read about these things, you hear about these things. And even though they're dead, there's somebody probably in another country or somewhere somehow that has managed to have access to their details and then now using the identity of these people. So in a nutshell, nobody's exempted, nobody's free. We are all vulnerable. Some people are more vulnerable than others, but I like you to think about it in this way, that you can never become too cautious. Yeah, you always have to put on your alarm bells. They have to be ringing all the time whenever somebody approaches you online or you find a suspicious email or message or phone call. You have to probe everything, second doubt everything. Okay, so let's watch a video. I hope it's gonna work. Let me see, I'll take you straight to YouTube. That's what is a very short video, just the life experiences of somebody who's gone through cybercrime and the impact it can have on individuals, the impact it can change your life. It can literally change your life. And it's very serious. So let me I'm gonna try and play it on YouTube. Just bear with me. Can you see my screen? What can you see on the screen? Sorry. You're on mute. Sorry,
Yeah,
you're still seeing the slide.
yeah.
Okay, so I need to stop sharing
Yeah.
and then share again. Okay, there we go. Right, can you see the YouTube video?
Yes.
Can you see? Okay, all right, thank you. Hold on. Can we hear the volume?
We're constantly told to be on the lookout.
Can you hear? Can everybody hear?
No,
No.
Oh, you can't hear.
not anymore.
You can't hear.
No.
Oh. How do I do this volume now? I can't get the audio to work, sorry.
Easy. Okay.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop playing that video because I can't get the audio to work. Just bear with me. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the slides and we just carry on. Okay, so I apologize about that. I couldn't get the audio to work, so I might share the screen. Sorry, the link some other time. Okay. Right, can everybody see my PowerPoint slide?
Yeah, we can.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Okay, so what can be, so that video was about a lady in America that got scammed online. She thought she was buying shares and bonds and stocks, but apparently it was a fake website. It was not what she actually thought it was. And she had already invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy the shares. She thought she was investing in her future. She had recently just lost her husband, and she probably got a payout, maybe from insurance company, I'm not sure, but she invariably lost everything because she went online to buy these stocks and shares without realizing that it was a fake website. And interestingly, even though she reported it, they couldn't get the money back. It was difficult for the police to actually get the monies back for her. So So she lost everything. Okay. Yeah, so it's quite sad. I mean, it can really have like a detrimental impact on people's lives. It can affect your well-being, your mental health. It can affect family relationships. It can make you miserable for the rest of your life. So now let's move on to the next slide. So what can be stolen and how? What can people steal from you? Yeah, what can they steal? Obviously, they're not stealing anything physical. They're stealing things that you have probably saved online, things that they've accessed from maybe your emails, probably your phones. They have accessed information about you. So those are the things that can be stolen. They can steal your name. They can steal your date of birth. They can steal your address. They can steal your national insurance number. They can steal your bank details. They can steal your passports, ID. They can even steal your photographic ID and pretend to be you when you're not. So cybercrime is being committed every day. And as we speak, they continue to, work in the background to defraud people. And they commit these crimes to steal people's monies and their identity. So those are the two main ones, your money and your identity. With your identity, the thief can take out loans, they can incur credits, they can accumulate debts, and then flee without a trace. It can take years to rehabilitate your identity, and a virus can destroy someone's files, and a lost database can result in receiving unwanted sales calls. Does anybody have any experience of this? Any experience of this? Of cybercrime? Okay, so I can give an example. Can people hear me? Because I can't see anybody now. All right.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't see people now. I don't know what I've done to my computer. But I just trust that you can hear me. You can all hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, fabulous. So I'll give an example. I have been a victim, or nearly. So there was one time where I got a phone call from somebody or an organization that claimed to be my mobile provider. And coincidentally, I don't even know how they managed to find out. I was due for a contract around that time. So I might have been maybe surfing online to see what kind of phone I wanted, what kind of contracts that I was going to go into, just basically shopping online to compare, to make sure that I get the best deals. And suddenly I got this call and it felt so real. They had my name and they asked you to confirm your address, and I did. And they said they were calling from my mobile provider. And everything seemed so real. Initially, I was suspicious. And they said, oh, why would you be suspicious? Okay, if you doubt it, I can send you an email with our website and everything. And they sent me an email, and I got the email and the website, everything seemed genuine. I went into their website, there were phones, there were packages and everything. So with that, I felt a bit relaxed. I think I let down my guards. But then again, when they started giving the offers, they started talking about the different phones that I can have for a very, very good price and heavily discounted price. And that was really attractive to me. And I thought, oh, that's great if I can get this. And they told me that you're going to get it within 24 hours, which was even better with recorded delivery. And I agreed. And then they started, could you confirm your address? And I did that. And could you confirm your last address? And I did that. I had a feeling in me that I had something in me that probably told me that this was probably not quite right, but I felt I couldn't stop myself. I just wanted to see to the end. And then they started asking about my bank details, and I confirmed it. I confirmed the bank, But because I was suspicious, I gave them the bank account details of an account that is basically dormant, not in use. And then when they finished, they started pushing for the last 3. And I said, why do you need to, okay, you know what? I need to end this now. I'm going to call my provider. Why do you need the last 3 digits of my bank account details? And he started being persuasive, using all manner of tactics to make me relax, to make me believe him. But I just said, you know what? I'll call you back. And as soon as I hung up that line, it dawned on me that actually this must have been a scam. So I tried to call them back. They even gave me a number. They gave me a number. Oh, if you're not sure, okay, we're going to end this call and you call us back. So they gave me a number. I called them back. Oh, you want to speak with this person? Hold the line. I'll put you through. And I was on hold for about a minute or so. And it didn't just really feel right. So in the end, I didn't give them my regular bank details. They did have some information about me. What they've done with that information, I have no clue, but I realized that it was a scam. And I was very lucky on that occasion that I didn't have anything in my bank account. And so far, so good. I haven't seen any negative impacts that that particular, call and the information I've given has had so far, on my details or my identity. So that's just one example. I'm going to give another example. I don't know, has anybody else experienced this, or is it just me? Has anybody had calls from their mobile phone companies or
I
from?
think I did.
Yes, I did. But I didn't go extend to that one that I gave my account details. No, they asked of my email, which I give. They said to confirm the email, which I did, but the email didn't go through. So I just end up the call. They called me. I didn't pick their call anymore.
Fabulous. Thank you very much for sharing. So my security antennas wearing as alert as yours at the time, because I saw a very good deal and I thought, oh, I'm getting a bargain. So that's why I said that when things seem too good to be true, always doubt it, always probe, always think about it. Don't make like impromptu decisions. Don't be too in a hurry. And I noticed that he was so pushy. This guy on the phone was pushing. Okay, can we just move on? All right. He was kept trying to hurry me with this process and it just didn't feel right. Thank you. Anybody else had that experience? Until today, I still have
yeah,
calls.
I think I did, yes.
Sorry?
I did yesterday. They rang me up
okay.
and gave me this deal for limited everything with this nice phone and all that. So, but again, I told them I've already gotten a limited phone, but I will need it for my brother. So the way they were pushing, I said, well, I need to open an account for my brother. They said, no, I should use my own account. It's okay. I said, I'm not going to do that. So today they called me again and said, have I opened an account for my brother? I said, not yet. So immediately you said it, now your question to plug their number.
Excellent. Excellent. Fabulous. So the only way that these things can really register is if we talk about our personal experiences. It might not even be your own personal experience. It might be an experience of somebody that you've heard, that you've seen online, or a friend or family. It might be that that's how we can relate. That's how we can really resonate with us, because you can teach all you like. When it comes to the reality, because sometimes you're so busy, and with me, it coincided so well with the time that I really wanted to upgrade my phone. So I just thought, oh, they must have checked their records. They're spot on. So that's how they got me. But in a way, they didn't get me. They nearly and almost got me. I'll give you another example about employment scam. Okay, so I have a family friend. She's in the UK, recently came to the UK. She's working, doing some odd jobs, but she wanted to take her, she's a professional, but hasn't quite found a job in her line of, in her career, in the career path that she wants to pursue. So she's doing the odd jobs while still trying to upskill herself and, gain experience so that she can get a better job. So she found this HR job online. She saw the adverts. It was in a reputable website. She saw the advert and she applied to this job. She applied, everything went through. They told her she was successful And then the next thing was that they were going to invite her for an interview. She was like, great. We're all excited for her, to be honest. So she did the interview. The interview was online interview. Remember, everything has gone digital. She did an online interview with a panel. Okay. So this is how far they can go with a panel, online video conference interview. She did that interview. She did well in their eyes. And afterwards, they said that she had gotten through, she got the job, she performed excellently well. They want to have her, they can't wait for her to join their team, and so on and so forth. Brilliant. So the next stage will be to do the checks, the necessary checks, which will be maybe checking DBS. She has a particular certification that they need for that HR job. And this lady she's got a master's in HR. But the certification that they want, I think it's a level 4 or 5, but her master's is a level 6. And she already did that course. She did that course while she was doing her master's degree. So they came back to her to say, oh, actually, you didn't meet the criteria. You haven't provided any certificate for this course, this requirement, this particular course that you have to do or have for you to fill that post. And she was like, oh, I've done a master's, and this master's outweighs, it overrides that certificate. They were like, no, you have to have that course. You must do that course. You must have it. So she was like, okay, that's fine. If you want me to do that course, I don't mind. And they say, yeah, but you have to sponsor yourself. We can't fund it. So they really, they said it was £350 to fund that course. Oh, she didn't find it funny at all. She was like, really? I have to cut that out? You know, suddenly it's not something she planned for. So she told them, okay, you know what? I can do the course. You can take the money, you fund it, and you take the money out of my salary. So she was having that negotiation with them back and forth. She didn't really get to a point where she had to, because they gave her the site and said, book yourself on that course and pay the money. We'll deliver the training, and then that's it done. You start up with us. But because she didn't agree to pay that money, and she insisted that they have to fund it and collect it from her salary, they had to back out. And then she started becoming suspicious. She went online again to have a second look. You know, you're now looking with a fresh set of eyes, right? You're looking with your investigative eyes. And then she went online to check their address. She Googled it. That address did not exist nowhere. Everything was fake from the beginning to the end. And because she didn't pay that money, they backed out. She never heard from them. Everything, all the contacts, all the emails were cut off, and that was it. And that's how she managed to get herself out of that situation. She could have been scammed 350. I mean, some people might say, oh, it doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, for them to be doing this, it means that they're having successful trials. They're having people who are falling for this particular scam. And imagine if, say, 100 people fall for that scam worldwide. Remember, it wasn't a UK company. It's supposed to be like an online thing, online HR. And you know, the way the world is now, you can be in UK and be working in Dubai remotely. You can be in UK and be working in America or any part of the world. So that's how they've sold that particular job and the opportunity. And it seemed so inviting, very tempting, very, you know, family friendly. It was so convenient, and you get a good pay. So if they probably try that out for about 100 and maybe 50 or 40 people fall for that scam. And if you accumulate that amount, it's a lot of money for the scammers. So even a pound is what you're keeping in your pocket because you've worked for it. You're not going to let anybody scam you of a pound, let alone that amount of money. So yeah, so that's just another example. And then my sister also, I think she nearly fell for the scam. She got like a text message or a call from somebody telling her that her immigration, she hasn't paid some kind of immigration fees or charge, you know, and we're going to take you to court. We're taking you to a tribunal. We're taking, you know, you have broke your immigration rules. And she was so confused, and it came with threats. It came with threats. She said if she had the money, and they asked her to pay about £1,000, And she said if she had the money in her bank account at that point, she would have paid. She started begging, negotiating that, oh, actually, can I pay instrumentally? Can I, can I call you back? Can I? The only reason she didn't fall for them was because she didn't have the money. So they come in different form, different shapes, different formats, different strategies, different patterns. It just really depends. Sometimes they target people based on maybe the searches they've made online. They kind of trail you, and then they use topics or issues that they know that you're probably dealing with at that point in time to try and scam you. So we really, really have to be alert. We really have to be cautious. Right. And again, what can be stolen and how? Your identity can be stolen. It's so important. Can you imagine somebody stealing your identity, stealing your name, your identity and everything, and committing a crime with it in another city or in another town or in another country? That's very heartbroken. That's detrimental. So they can, as I said, they can steal your identity. They can steal your money. They can steal. Okay, I read about one where this young lady, she thought that she was going to be employed by a modeling agency. And the first thing they asked her to do was to send pictures of herself, naked pictures of herself. Okay. And she thought, oh, actually, really? Okay, maybe that's part of their procedure. And she did. And as soon as she did that, they started using that against her. And they told her that they started blackmailing her. And they told her that she has to pay them a certain amount of money. Otherwise, they're going to post it online. So interesting. Yes, it is happening every day, every minute, every second. We haven't experienced it doesn't mean that it's not happening. We just have to be aware. We just have to read. Sometimes you're not sure, call somebody and just check up with that person. Yeah. Or if you're not sure, just sleep over it. If you're not sure, just tell them, I'll give you a call back. Think about it. Think. Go to the website. Sometimes the website looks so genuine. The emails, everything's so genuine, so close to the real thing, to the authentic website that you think you're looking at, but it's not. Sometimes it's the more you look, the less you see. So again, we just have to be careful. So what might help? So if we choose strong passwords and don't reuse them for multiple logins, I know a lot of us are so guilty of this, including myself, okay? Because it's convenient, because everything is online now, and you need a password, you need login details for everything. Even if you're shopping, you need to create an account, you need to log in, and they're asking for password. It's quite a lot to deal with, quite a lot to remember. So it's very convenient to use the same password. I would advise against it. Try not to do that. Try to use different password, try to alternate your password, try to change them regularly. Say maybe every 6 months, every 3 months, try to just swap them around. Okay, so also we can protect ourselves by installing security software, such as antivirus and two-factor authentication. These kind of softwares are easily available for free. They're online, but you have to be careful not to click on the wrong websites. You have to know what you're looking for. You have to know what you're searching for you to even probably use some of these softwares. So get help, get advice. Don't just go online and click on anything just because it's free, especially when it's free. It's very tempting. You could click on something and they hack into your computer. We have all manner of examples. People's phones get hacked into, their WhatsApp messages gets hacked into. We're going to look at all of this in the coming weeks. We're going to really unpack this. And also keep our security softwares and operating systems updated. So update your devices. It could be your phones, it could be your laptops, I don't know, your tablets, iPads. Just do system update as and when due, because that means that you're updating all your security softwares as well. Okay, so that's some of the things, simple things that we can do to sort of keep ourselves safe But as I said, we're going to unpack this in the coming weeks. This topic is quite vast. Some weeks we're just going to look at mobile phones or look at WhatsApp messages, how you can protect your WhatsApp, how you can keep yourself safe, how you can probably block people on WhatsApp so that you don't your messages, your details and things like that are not are shared or are not exposed, you're not exposed, or you're not leaving yourself vulnerable online. So we're going to look at how you can do like a secured search online. So we're going to unpack all of this week after week. This is just like a broad overview to get us really, really thinking that these guys out there, they're very, very creative. They're coming up with more sophisticated, more like smart ways to get hold of our details, of our identities, of our monies. And we have to keep moving with their pace, because they're doing everything to make sure that they succeed in that industry. We have to keep up to pace and stop being complacent. So yeah, that's it. Any questions, any contributions actually, or questions? No? Okay, lovely. So that's it for now. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. As I said, this is just a broad overview. We're going to really look at practical steps. Practice. This is theory. We're going to look at practice. We're going to look at practical steps. So come with your devices, your phones, and we can look at how we can possibly, create a safe surfing system. We can look at how we can do things more securely online and with confidence. Thank you very much. Over to you, War. You're on mute.
Yes, I want to unmute myself. Thank you very much, Joel. You see the way with the way everybody digested this cyber fraudulent activities is like a reward. And thank you for helping that Martha. Martha was almost being caught red-handed. Immediately you are saying she have to block them,
Block quickly, yes.
This is the more reason we have to come to this type of gathering, to share knowledge, to share. Nobody is perfect. It could happen to anyone. By the time you just relax a little bit, the next thing is they caught you unaware, They come up with different method at all time. There is what is it called? A video they sent to our chat, I deleted it because I don't really want the group to get involved with a lot of things coming in, If you take your time to watch that video, you will be so perplexed. I don't even know what to use. You will be you get frustrated that have these people gone a step further, that most of all we send money homes. Just imagine you send money and you got an alert that they've received the money has been credited to either your own account or somebody else's account, and you now find out that the money is not there. So how will you feel? This is the type of world we are living in, and this is the more reason we have to protect and try to guide ourselves around that they don't come to take what doesn't belong to them. I want to say thank you everyone from coming. We've got some new people among us. We got Lawrence. Lawrence is no longer there. We've got Grace, Mama Stella. Everybody, welcome to this platform. And all those that have been there with us before, I want to say welcome and thank you for coming to this our little gathering again. We will continue to. I told you last time before we finish the other section project that we'll be having a lot of things coming in. So the National Lottery have found us. People are benefiting from it. They decided to fund us again. Please, let's utilize this. A lot of people want this, but they can't even get it. It is free. You don't pay for it. I have come here today. We've done this. I benefited something, even if it's just one thing you are taking home. get that you've taken something home and you will not make such a mistake. You understand? Is it hard to write a letter? Different things are coming up. In some section, we'll be having the mental health section where well-being, where a specialist will come and talk to us on how to take care of ourselves. This our body, we need to take care of it. We don't work at the end. We will not enjoy what we worked for. We have to. I'm going to learn. You are going to learn. We all are going to learn. So let's try to always attend. I will be passing information to everyone in the platform. So if you know you haven't really given me your number, please send your number to me so that I'll add you to the group. In case we have any information, we can pass it around. It's just basically for information about the Thought Foundation. There is no other things. I don't want people to get too many information on that platform, so that we all enjoy the purpose of it being there. So thank you for coming. Wish to see you again on next Friday. I'll come up with another topic. So always look forward to joining this particular platform. Thank you all. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Joy. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. See you next week.
See you next week.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, Martha. Bye, everyone. Bye,
Bye.
Nadi.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Yoa.
Bye. Bye, Amina. Bye, Madam Stella.
Bye, ma.
Bye.